Back in June of 2023, Dawson released a plugin called Love, and it landed at a really specific moment. A lot of producers wanted ambient depth fast, but without getting dragged into a 40 parameter rabbit hole every time they just needed a cloud of motion behind a sound. Love's whole reason for existing was simple and practical. Take almost any source, run it through a shimmer, a granular engine, and a huge spacey reverb, then get one page of workflow with smart randomization so you can explore quickly while still locking in what matters when you find something worth keeping. Now, Love 2 is the evolution of that idea, and the big shift here is architectural. Instead of being a fixed lineup of effects, you are building an effects rack where you can load up to 6 modules in any order and dive into deeper parameters on the backside of each module, letting you move from a subtle halo to full cinematic bloom with way more intention. So in this video, I'm going to start with a blank rack, build a few practical chains that you can steal immediately, and show you how Love 2 keeps the original effortlessness of just try it energy while opening up a deeper canvas for ambient bliss, shimmering particle trails, and wide, luminous spaces that still feel musical. So today we're going to be taking a look at Love 2. This is Love squared. This is Love to the second power. This is the love that you always wanted. All jokes aside, this is a fantastic plugin and I'm super excited to showcase it here on the channel today. So we're going to take a look at Love 2 and I'm going to show you what it can do and what it's all about and how you can add Love 2 to your own productions. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are in Ableton Live. I have a demo track here. We're going to listen to the demo track and then we're going to explore everything there is to know about Love 2. Here we go. As you can hear, it's a nice demo track. I've got a pad here with Love 2 on it. A preset called Sunken Cathedral. Just a very subtle pad, right? Love that, no pun intended. Bass, kick, snare, glitch percussion, but the real stars of the show are down here. Now I've got a sequence here that is just a simple sine wave. I want to make this clear, coming from Pigment 7 with a wave folder distortion on it. So it's very simple, nothing to this, right? And as you can hear, it's a very simple sequence. But when we add Love 2 to the mix, check this out. Oh yeah. This is a preset that I made called Outskirts, which will probably be included in an upcoming preset pack, hint hint. And as you can see, I'll get out of the way, you can see there's an LFO here that is modulating the filter cutoff here of this multi-mode filter in bandpass mode. So every once in a while, you get these beautiful washes of high frequency. And again, it's just a sequence, right? So if I lower the mix down, you can hear the original sequence. But if you turn it up, oh yeah, you get that Love 2 effect. I absolutely love this, right? So that's great to see. And you know, there's lots of things you can do with Love 2. It's not just for pads, it's not just for sequences. This can be your, you know, full-on granular processor for all your things, right? So anyway, that's the sequence we got going on. I'll go ahead and turn that down a little bit. And I have another sequence down here that we're gonna use to explore Love 2 and its features, right? So, very simple sequence down here. I'll go ahead and solo the sequence. Okay, it's just coming from Vital, a preset from Anomaly 3 called Spherical. All right, we will open up Love 2 and initialize the preset and pause the sequence. Now, Love 2 is based on this whole idea of granular synthesis, right? So there are 3 different granular modes that you can choose from: Swarm, Chop, and Robot. Now they're all off by default. And what happens in Love is when you initialize the preset, nothing happens until you turn on the granular mode. Now you could choose to turn this on or off. You can even use it as an effects processor and just load it up with effects and not even touch the granular engine altogether, right? But we're gonna turn on the granular engine. I'm gonna fire up my sequence again, and you're gonna hear that immediately it starts granulizing the sound underneath it. And by granulizing, I mean sampling it at tiny little points. That's what granular synthesis is. Check this out. Now we don't hear anything yet until we turn up something like the duration or the count. Or my favorite, you can adjust the octave of the grains. So now you start hearing these little micro samples that are an octave above where the original sequence was. Love that. Now, we've got different options here. We can transpose these grains. So I could transpose this another 12 semitones. You can see that. Listen to this. So we're starting to get this wash of grains here. Really nice. Now, that is full 100% wet. You can see here we have in and out controls over here on the left and right hand side. We do have a mix knob. This is very important because the mix knob is how much wet signal we're getting out of the granular engine. We can turn that down, and as you can hear, now we hear our original sequence plus our granulized signal. Love that. You can choose to go quantized or unquantized. That's nice, right? You can have some tune jitter here, which is a little randomization in the tuning. If you want, you can reverse the grains. So as you can see, some of them are now flowing backwards. You can pan them, a little randomization in the panning. So now you hear them randomly moving around our head. Love that. And that's just the swarm mode, all right? So that is just the swarm mode. Now you'll notice when I change from swarm to chop here, that these options here on the right-hand side change. So we got chop here. This is more of a rhythmic sample here. You can see you can put it in sync mode. We can choose to multiply the beats per minute, change the grain size. So if you're doing something that's a little more rhythmic, chop mode is where it's at. Okay. Love that. And finally, we have robot mode. This is a very interesting mode. Oh yeah. For real short, kind of robotic, glitchy sequences. But you can imagine, you know, all these different modes have their uses, right? So if I turn up some reverb and delay here, and that's just gorgeous. That's just robot mode. I love it. Anyway, so that is half the fun of Love, right? Is getting into this granular engine. And like I said, you can choose to use the granular engine just by turning it on or off. It's a really great plugin, especially when it comes to granular synthesis. My goodness. Chill out, Love 2. Anyway, Okay, so now let's talk about the effects inside of Love 2. Now, before we do this, I want to show you the original Love plugin so you guys can see where we've come from. The original Love had a fixed effects path, meaning it started with a filter, then it went into a shimmer reverb, followed by a delay, then a chorus, then the clouds reverb, and then a phaser. Now, this was a good order. However, it might not have been ideal for every situation. You might not have wanted a phaser after your clouds reverb and so on. So now with Love 2, you can add any effect in any order and you get a bunch more effects too, right? So let's go ahead and just open up a simple square wave here. I've got a very basic, coming from the original Serum, a preset from Ancient Technology 2. And what we're gonna do is just start adding effects here by hitting this plus sign. I can add a clouds reverb here to start with, right? You can see we've got dry wet control here on the front. All the controls though are now hidden on the back. You can click the gear icon, we can up the size, up the space. This clouds reverb has lush control. Love that. Hopefully we can add that to Soul at some point. Love to see it. Click the gear icon again and we can lower down the dry wet. Now, if you're building your own effects change, I highly encourage you to just keep the dry wet low at the start because you're stacking up to 6 effects and things can get very dense very quickly. So now we can add another effect here. Let's go ahead and just choose something. Maybe we'll go with a loophole. This was inspired by my friend Akil Adam of Akil Adam Sound, famous for Ridgewalk, Waymaker, and others. Brilliant developer. Anyway, we can up the density here, up the decay, lower down the dry wet. So now we have a loophole coming after our clouds, right? And as you can see, I can just drag this over. If we wanted to start with the loophole, going into the clouds, we can do that, right? So you can hear already, just with those 2 effects, like, that's just super dope. We haven't even touched the Granular engine at all. So like I said earlier, you can use this as just an effects processor. Love 2 is where it's at. All right, let's continue before we get to the end here. Let's go ahead. We'll add maybe a chorus here, lower down the depth, lower down the speed. Oh yeah, lower down the dry wet. Like I said, keeping it nice and low. Perfect. And you can see we've got lots of modulation, distortions here. We got filters, and you can add them in any order that you choose. It's really great. So let's go ahead and add an ASYM. This is a distortion. For just a little bit of bite to this. Oh yeah. After that, we can add another grains. Let's add a grains here. Add some glitter here. Oh yeah. Love it. And if you really wanted to, you could add another clouds. Let's do it, right? Up the size, up the space, up the lush, lower the earlies. Let's go ahead and light this up. Oh yeah. Sounds so good. Adjust the mix here. Oh yeah. So like I said, in combination with, you know, the Granular engine here, I mean, you just can't go wrong. Love 2. Absolutely amazing. I want to remind you that all of these knobs here on the back are modulatable. You can modulate the dry wet, just like I showed in the intro. I mean, this is fantastic. So good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today. I truly appreciate it. I want to thank Dawsome for sponsoring this video and for creating Love 2. I mean, I really love the original Love, but this is like twice as good, even better, more than I could have hoped for. So go check it out. I'll leave the link down below in the description for Love 2. And I'm sure it's gonna be on intro price for a limited time, so make sure to grab it while it's hot. Anyway, have fun loving, y'all. It's been real. My name is Chris from Signs of Life. Thank you again so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next Signs of Life video. Take good care.